You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Essentia. A better you starts with better hydration. Essentia is on a mission to inspire people to do what matters most. Their proprietary ionization process transforms water from any source into ionized alkaline water, providing water that's 99.9% pure with a pH of 9.5 or higher. Essentia Overachieving H2O, the #1 ionized alkaline water. Shop now.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and this is part 2 of our Broadway bonus tournament. As they say, one day more, another day, another destiny, this never-ending road to podcasting. So I'm not here by myself again, but Ken, Jeff, and Matt are not here. They're investigating a fugue for tin horns, but we do have someone sitting in her fun home and hoping that no one rains on her parade, and that is Kellyn Maguire. How are you, Kellyn?
Hi, I'm good.
A lot of references there.
I loved the fugue for tin horns reference for some reason. That really tickled. Yeah, just chilling, you know.
Well, you did a wonderful job last week on our episode, and you wrote all the questions for this tournament, so we really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I've had some play testers helping me to make sure that I'm not doing anything impossible. Yeah, I'm very excited to do another game.
Well, so am I, and I believe the competitors are excited because the winner of this tournament is not only going to get a free t-shirt from TeePublic, who is hosting our newest merchandise store, which you can find at trivialitypodcast.com. Click on merchandise or just go to TeePublic and type in Triviality Podcast. But the winners will be mounting a full production of Oklahoma that will be streaming live for all to see. We'll figure that out later, all the contracts and whatnot. But we do have some wonderful competitors here ready to play today. And let's get to introducing them. So our first competitor is coming to us from Allentown, Pennsylvania. He's been on the show before. It's great to see him. And that is Keith. How's it going, Keith?
Pretty good, Neal. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here and hopefully not embarrass myself with being stumped by Kellyn's questions on Broadway shows. But
I hope so too.
I don't think you'll be stumped. We did a little practice round and you did very well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in Broadway, or maybe a favorite show or album, anything like that?
Yeah. So my background, I was a theater major in college back 20 years ago now. And we used to go to Broadway every spring break to see 2 or 3 shows. And that's where it sort of started. Being in Allentown, I'm pretty close. I wish I could see more, but I have those playbill booklets to collect them all. And I think I've seen almost 60 Broadway shows. And I started keeping track of the theaters I go to. I've been to, I think, 27 of the 41 theaters. So it's sort of like a bucket list to just at least see one show at every Broadway theater. And, now with COVID, it's going to take me a while to get back there. But favorite show, I think probably one of the most surprising shows was Peter and the Starcatcher. I knew nothing about it, but I saw it with my then girlfriend and mom. We went there on the day before Thanksgiving, and we just picked up, I think, TKTS tickets back, upper mezzanine, back of the wall, like as far away from the stage as possible. But you just saw this amazing production. It mixed music and fantastic direction, just like this whole cast of men and one female, like taking on all these wonderful parts and being very improvisational and sort of commedia dell'arte and just mime. And it blew my mind. It was like an amazing production. I saw the national tour when it came through Easton, and it wasn't as big and spectacular, but it got me into the books written by Dave Barry. And that was probably the most memorable show that I've seen a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's a great program. Colleen did a version of that at her high school that was a lot of fun. And of course, Christian Borles can't get much better than him in a bunch of different roles. So, great show. Well, thank you for joining us, Keith. Our next competitor is right here in Chicago, and we're happy to have him. And that's Jamey. How's it going, Jamey?
Hey, Neal. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live here in Chicago. I work in finance. I kind of grew up with Broadway. My aunt was a Broadway actress. My mom was a high school choir director who I think somebody on the podcast knows. So I just like grew up going to shows, and now I kind of try to go to New York once or twice a year to see as many shows as I can. And I'll just go for like a long weekend and see like matinee, evening performance, and just jam like 6 musicals or 7 musicals into 3 days, which is always super fun. My favorite show is Gypsy, classic. Patti LuPone's my favorite Mama Rose. And that's all I got for you right now.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. Jamey was referring to his family. Jamey is a very accomplished performer himself, who I've seen many times. So don't sell yourself short there. But his mom and aunt are two of the most talented people in the world. So thank you for joining us, Jamey. So our next competitor is someone who's been on the show before, and we're so happy to have her here, especially with the time zone difference. One of our honorary listeners from the Netherlands, Gaudi. How's it going, Gaudi?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, it's good. It's not so late at the moment, so it's fine. It's fine.
It wasn't like the other time when it was 2 a.m. when you were competing, but you still performed valiantly. So
yeah. That was something different, yeah. So I've only seen one show on Broadway in 2009. It's West Side Story, which was great. Was my first and last time so far in New York.
That's a great one to see, though.
It is. It really is. So my favorite. I've been going to musicals since I was a child. Both my father and I are addicted to musicals, so that's great. Really, my favorite musical, I think, is either Miss Saigon or Les Miserables. I love both of them so much.
It's the same writers for both, I think. So
I think so, yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I do love Les Mis. That's why I had to put that little reference. I think I got the lyrics right off the top of my head, but I could be wrong. But that's a great one to...
You did.
Oh, I did? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Except for the podcasting. That was my own addition there.
No, I think Victor Hugo was a prolific podcaster. I mean, like, before everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Especially in France, yeah. So it's all in French, but he is a big podcaster. Well, thank you, Gaudi, for joining us and for everyone else joining us. And like I said before, this is part 2. There's going to be one more part, and the winner will receive a free T-shirt from TeePublic, our new merchandise supplier. And also, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Triviality Podcast to help support the show monetarily. You get extra bonus episodes, I think about 30 or 40 hours of extra content, as well as some great perks like stickers and posters and curated boxes and things like that. So please join us over there. But more importantly, I'm just going to throw it to Kellyn to explain today's game. I believe it's 15 questions, and let her take the keys and run with it.
Thank you. Yeah. So today is 15 questions, and just like last week's, it's broken into about 5 categories ish, so that it's a chance for everybody to flex a little bit of knowledge. I'll be basically looking for the name of a show, the name of a person, a specific part of a musical or or a play, a little bit of miscellaneous stuff, and then questions about the Tony Awards, which are just big trivia fodder. Great. So if we're all ready, I'll start with question 1. Most people know her as the singing voice of Mulan and Princess Jasmine. But before that, Lea Salonga was only 18 years old when she originated the lead in what musical, earning her an Olivier and Tony Award?
All right. This name sounds so familiar to me. 18. I'm going back and forth between 2, and I feel like Lea Salonga is not the girl. I can't remember who is in Rent. It was in the original production of Rent as Mimi. I can't remember if this is Lea Salonga or if it's another actress with a similar name, and Lea Salonga was in a different production of, I'm going to just say Les Miserables. I think I'm confusing two actresses, and I think they both did Fantine, or I always get the names in Les Mis confused. I think they both did it in different productions, and that's why they're connected in my head. But I'm going to lock in with Les Miserables.
Okay. Keith locked in. Let's go to Jamey.
She did play Fantine for sure, but I think this is Miss Saigon.
All right. And Gaudi?
It's Miss Saigon.
Yes, it is Miss Saigon. She did Fantine. I think she did Eponine too at some point. She was just a tiny little baby when she did this show. But God, her voice is spectacular. Okay, question 2. This is simple. Which composer has won the most Tony Awards?
I'm struggling a bit. Let me try to work this out. Which composer? No, I think I'm at a complete blank at the moment.
Gaudi is tapping. Let's go to Keith.
Yeah, this is one thing that I knew probably would come up. I studied some Tony knowledge over the past 48 hours, and I remember who won the most overall, but I think he's a producer. So what I locked in was with, I think he has some number, and I locked in with Stephen Sondheim.
Okay, Sondheim for Keith. And Jamey?
I'm also locked in with Stephen Sondheim.
And it is Stephen Sondheim. He won 8. Best music and lyrics for Company, best score for Follies, Little Night Music, Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods, and Passion, and a Lifetime Achievement.
So he's still on his way to being a superstar, is what you're saying. A burgeoning young composer.
Yeah, he's really starting to get into the swing of things.
I never heard of him before I studied yesterday.
He's an upstart, really. Okay. Of the 89 Pulitzer Prizes for drama that have been awarded, what % within 5 have been musicals? The Pulitzer Prizes for drama are weird because they'll skip years. There'll be years with multiple. It's an odd process.
Mine's going to be a total guess, but I'm locked in, I guess.
I didn't know there was going to be math on this theater bonus. I know a couple of shows that have won the Pulitzer. So now I'm just trying to hedge my bets and do the math of I'm going to lock in with 11%.
All right. 11% for Keith. Jamey?
17.
All right. And Gaudi?
Yeah, it was a bit higher. It was about 20%.
The answer is 11%. So Keith, I'm sorry you're so close on that one, Jamey. And the other odd fact is one of the it's a total of 10, and one of them was not on Broadway. It's the winner for 2020 has not been on Broadway yet. So I think it got delayed a bit with COVID. I lost my train of thought. But a little additional, Sunday in the Park with George and Next to Normal won the Pulitzer, but they did not win the Tony for Best Musical, and they're the only ones who didn't. So that's a little something you can impress people with.
There you go. Impress people at parties when they come back.
Yeah. Question 4. Which child actor is a featured character in the musical Avenue Q?
Locked in.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess as well. So
you can start if you want, Gaudi. What do you have?
So a child actor is a featured character in Avenue Q. Well, he's not a child anymore, but he was a child actor, Macaulay Culkin.
All right, Macaulay Culkin. Let's go to Keith.
Oh my God, it's Gary Coleman.
And Jamey?
I was with Gaudi. I said Macaulay Culkin, the quintessential actor.
That would be excellent, though, if they threw him in. It is Gary Coleman. What a wild show that is.
Oh, yes. Yes.
All right. Question 5. The witch in Into the Woods tasks the baker and his wife with finding 4 specific things. I just want you to name one of them.
These are the Horcruxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm locked in.
This is what it takes to kill Jack before he climbs the beanstalk.
Yeah, I know. This was one that I thought would be a question like on a normal like mid-round type style quiz, but I knew that this would be 15 standard questions. I was like, that's probably not good. I'm glad you didn't ask for all 4 because I'm trying to write them all down, and I feel like I can't remember the first one, and so I can't get into it. But I know one of them is definitely the cape is red as blood.
All right, so Keith in with cape. Jamey?
I also had the cape as red as blood, but I know there's also the corn is yellow as, or the corn is the hair is yellow as corn. There it is. And the cow is white as something.
And Gaudi?
I guessed magic beans.
Oh, that's not a bad guess, but I would have accepted the cow is white as milk, the hair is yellow as corn, the slipper is pure as gold, the cape is red as blood. But I feel like the corn as yellow as something would give an extra agricultural twist to this.
Well, Sondheim is really big on high fructose corn syrup, and that was probably a number that was on the cutting room floor. So,
he's in the pocket of big corn.
Exactly. After 5 questions, we have Gaudi with 1 correct answer, but still very much in the game. Jamey with 3 and Keith with 4.
Okay, so let's head into question 6. This is not a musical question. Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead tells a sort of parallel narrative of which Shakespearean drama?
I'm locked in.
There's a good joke about this on Frasier.
Locked in.
Yeah, I guess locked in.
All right, let's go with Keith.
I said Hamlet.
Okay, and Jamey?
I also said Hamlet.
And Gaudi?
Yeah, Hamlet.
That's correct.
All
right. This is, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie of it, but it actually works really well as a movie too, which is kind of surprising because it's so like theater-y,
I've just read Hamlet for the first time this year, and I somehow remembered it.
Kellyn and Neal, do you know, did Tom Stoppard direct the movie? I think he did.
Yeah, he might have actually. That's a really good question.
Sounds right.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I saw it 20 plus years ago before I even got into theater, so I wasn't really into it. I've always been meaning to rewatch it because I love the play. I've read it.
It is directed by him.
Yeah, that's probably why it's so good. Like it's his vision, and
it doesn't happen that often when the person who writes the play actually gets to direct the movie. And I feel like if that came out in the last 10 years with the affinity of Hollywood to do expanded universes like Marvel and whatnot, that it'd be really interesting to see the Broadway expanded universe to do side characters of small shows and give them their own movie.
I'm into
revenge.
Yeah, right.
The Frasier joke is Roz is volunteering at a retirement home for community service, and the old people she works with keep dying, and so the title card says Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. It makes me laugh every time, but it has nothing to do with this. Okay, question 7. There have been a few ties in Tony Award history. There has only been one tie for Best Musical. Which well-known classic musical with an accompanying well-known classic movie tied with Fiorello for the 1960 award?
All right, let's go with Keith.
The Hills Are Alive with The Sound of Music.
And Jamey?
Also The Sound of Music, because I know Gypsy lost this year, which my favorite, as I mentioned earlier.
and you're still bitter about it 70 years later, however many years later.
60 years later.
6 years later. Gaudi, how about you?
So based on the year, time period, I also guess Sound of Music.
That is correct. It is The Sound of Music. I just realized this was also the answer to a question in one of my regular games that I did. I really like The Sound of Music.
Yeah, it's a lot of great history too with the film as well. I mean, when it came out, it was one of the highest grossing movies. Actually, it was the highest grossing movie of all time for a short period of time, I think for 4 or 5 years. So,
yeah. It's so good. Like it, I watched it recently on Disney Plus, and I was just still enchanted by it. The other weird Tony fact about this is that the children were nominated jointly, like all of the children, for Best Actress under Laurie Peters and the children. So that happened. Question 8. In Lin-Manuel's lesser-known musical, In the Heights, the characters find out that the local bodega has sold a winning lottery ticket worth how much money?
I've actually never listened to this soundtrack, and I feel bad about it, but when Hamilton came out, I refused to listen to it until I actually saw it on stage, and which I ended up achieving, but I still haven't seen In the Heights, so I think I might just have to cave in and listen.
Are you going to make it that you see the movie, the new movie coming out, and then you listen?
No, I'll listen to it before the movie, just to give it, its due respect.
I actually
it's pretty good.
Heights better than Hamilton, but
oh, do you? Ooh, hot
popular opinion.
Hot take.
Yeah, the hot take.
I'm all about theater hot takes. Like, I eat them up.
So I'm looking in with a guest here.
All right.
I've had my iTunes. I have a playlist of every Broadway cast recording that I own. It's like 120 or 130 different CDs, and this did not come up in the past 48 hours. But I know it's like 1,000, and I'm trying to remember how many syllables are in that and how much money would make sense. I'm feeling 96,000. 96,000. I'll lock in with, I think.
All right, 96,000 for Keith. Jamey?
1, 2, 3. What would you do with 96 G's? 96. I'm gonna have to give snippets whenever I can.
and Gaudi?
I guessed 90.
Oh, it is 96,000.
Oh, well done.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song is really good. It's really underrated, I think, especially for the stuff that Lin-Manuel's written. Question 9. Which rock star duo, more famous for their work in a band, wrote the music and lyrics for the ginormous flop that was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark?
I'm locked in.
So I'll take either the duo or the band. Like, I'll be flexible. I love this show. I could talk about this show. I think it cost the investors $60 million.
Yeah, I remember them saying it was like one of the highest net worth productions that flopped so hard.
I think it would. Somebody did the math, and it would have had to sell out every show for 10 years to make the money back. So it was just never going to turn out well. It's not funny, but tons of people got hurt making it, and they just kept doing it. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
There's a joke about it in Impossible Kimmy Schmidt. Spider-Man Titus ends up playing Spider-Man at one point.
The title of this musical sounds amazing.
Yeah, right.
But I guess I'm not gonna get to the rock star, so I'm tapping this one because I have no idea.
Okay, Gaudi is tapping. And Jamey, if you still need time to think about it, feel free to take it.
No, I can lock in with a guess, but.
Okay, Gaudi is tapping. So Keith, what is your answer?
Kellyn, I'm glad you are going to take the band or anything, because when you wanted the names, I was guessing Bono and The Edge, but if I'm not sure that that's the duo, I'm just going to say U2.
All right, and Jamey?
I said Hootie and the Blowfish.
Now, that would be an amazing Spider-Man musical.
Oh my God. That would have changed everything, I think.
I only want to swing with you.
That's amazing.
Only if they starred in it, though. Like, you could only make it with those voices. Okay. It was Bono and The Edge, or U2.
Yeah, if it was anything like Hootie and the Blowfish's live concerts, all of the actors would have been barefoot on a bunch of different rugs everywhere on stage.
More injuries.
Yeah.
Just messy. I just love the idea of comic book musicals. The only other one that I know of is It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman, which is from like the 60s, and Linda Lavin and all of that goodness. Okay. Question 10. In Next to Normal, which instrument does the daughter Natalie play?
One of my faves is in this one, original Broadway cast. But I don't want to give anything away just in case.
Oh, I'm trying to decide who would be your fave of the original Broadway cast. I think I have an idea.
Yeah, there's a few good ones in this show.
All right, let's start with Keith.
I saw a local production of this like 10 years ago, and I have the track, but I can't remember anything. First guess was a piano, but I feel like that's too big, so I'm going with something smaller and unique. I'm going to say clarinet.
Okay, let's go to Jamey.
I said piano.
And Gaudi?
I said violin.
It is the piano, but I always think it's the violin. I don't know why, but my brain always goes to violin. Keith, I'm sorry, you talked yourself.
I don't remember a piano on the set. That's the problem. She plays on the stage.
I believe it's a keytar, right? That'd be a much different...
An accordion.
Much different production. Yeah, I saw one here locally at Drury Lane Theater, and it just like rocked me to my core. It was so good. But no, I love Aaron Tveit. It's like one of my favorite guys. So.
Oh yeah, he just won a Tony Award by default this year as the only nominee in his category.
Did they have the digital?
To him.
Did they have the digital?
I don't think so. They did the nominations in October, and they're like, we'll get around to the awards. They didn't like put a date on it or anything.
I saw he was the only one nominated, and I wasn't sure if I missed the actual winning of it.
No, it's going to be an interesting year because there's like 4 shows for the musical categories, and they're all nominated for everything.
Well, after 10 questions, still very close. Gaudi's picking up some ground here. You have 3 points. Jamey with 7 and Keith with 8.
Okay. Woo. Question 11. Alison Bechdel gave us the Bechdel test, but she also gave us an autobiographical comic that was later adapted into what historical and award-winning musical opening on Broadway in 2015?
I guess I'm going to have to tap again. I know who she is. I know what the Bechdel test is, but I honestly don't know what the musical is.
All right, Gaudi is tapping. Let's go to Keith.
That would be Fun Home.
And Jamey.
Fun Home.
And the answer is Fun Home. This was the first Broadway show to feature a lesbian protagonist. So that was a very big moment for Broadway history.
And it was the only show to have a full female creative team. So that was like a big thing for history too.
Just like a chef's kiss.
All
the way around.
The Tony show that year when they had that little girl, not little, but the young actress sing Ring of Keys. I kept it on my DVR because like I would just watch that and get goosebumps. Such a beautiful song and such a wonderful actress. Really sad I didn't get to see it on Broadway.
Yeah, I believe Janine Tesori, I think, helped out on West Side Story for Spielberg, or at least was involved in some capacity as like musical director or vocal, something like that, which is cool.
I think so. Yeah. Where am I? Question 12. This is going to be long. This star began her career in the early 1960s and has garnered many accolades in almost 60 years. In fact, along with holding records with Billboard and the RIAA, she possesses numerous Grammys, Oscars, Emmys, Peabodys, Golden Globes, and even the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She is an EGOT, but she has never won a competitive Tony, having only a special award from 1970, the Star of the Decade. Who is she? And RIAA is Recording Industry Association of America, if that helps.
Not to be confused with RIPD, the Ryan Reynolds bomb.
I should have looked at the EGOT lists. It's always good trivia.
Every time I look at that list, I'm like, oh, I got it for the next time an EGOT question comes up, and then I never do. I forget it.
Same with me, and it keeps growing. Like, that's the problem. People keep winning awards because...
Need to stop.
Yeah. Trivia should lock in and never change.
I agree. That's my problem with sports trivia is it changes so often that I feel like I can't keep up. Plus, I don't get it.
The problem is I don't watch sports, so...
Oh, yeah, see, that would help, right?
Hard.
I know from last time I studied the EGOT list, one of the... two names that come to mind are Streisand and Minnelli. And I just feel like Liza has to have had one Tonys, so I'm hoping Streisand is the one that... And she has the more singing career with the RIAA and everything else, so I feel... I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to guess Barbra Streisand.
All right, Keith with Streisand. Jamey?
My mom would kill me if I didn't say Barbara Streisand.
And Gaudi?
Yeah, no, I guess someone completely different. I guess Angela Lansbury. But Streisand sounds very good.
Angela Lansbury is an excellent guess, but it is Barbara Streisand. She's actually the highest certified female album artist and the greatest Billboard 200 female artist of all time, in addition to just being fabulous.
Yep.
She is amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
And also underrated for her directing as well. Great director.
Yeah. She's everything. Question 13. In Falsettos, all of the main characters show up to cheer Jason as he plays what Little League sport?
This is a show I've definitely never seen before, but I feel like I saw an in-concert production, but I don't know. I'm going back and forth between baseball and soccer, and last time I didn't go with my gut, and I didn't say piano, and it screwed me. So I'm going to go with my gut and say baseball this time. And if it screws me again, I'm going to be very sad.
All right, Keith with baseball. Jamey?
Baseball.
And Gaudi?
Yeah, baseball.
And that's correct. It is baseball. So congrats to Keith Scott.
I was actually going to see a Dutch production of Falsettos this year, but it got cancelled because of the COVID virus.
No.
Yeah.
I think this is one that's available on Broadway HD. The Stephanie J. Block, Christian Borle.
That one is amazing.
She was robbed of the Tony.
She got it for Share Show, which was amazing, but
there's like a little scene in there where like is it about a lot of couples, like some heterosexual, homosexual, like, and like I feel like I've seen a scene where like all the couples are going around, and then I remember a scene at a baseball, I guess, park or something.
Yeah.
So I must have seen something from that show, but I don't know it at all.
Yeah, that production especially really kind of like took people's hearts, I feel like. So it got very popular.
I remember walking around New York, and then I saw the billboard for it. And I was like, wow, what a cast. Like, because I'd never heard the show before, of the show before. And I saw the cast. I was like, whoa, that's insane.
And Tracy Toms and Betsy, feel so bad now.
Betsy DeWolf.
That's it. I know her from 35 millimeter, so I was very excited.
It was big.
Yeah. Okay. Question 14. Which acclaimed actress of television, film, and theater took on Lily Tomlin's role in the stage version of 9 to 5, the musical? It's fitting that she was playing the mom character.
Okay, let's start with Keith.
It's funny. I was in this production a couple of years ago, and I remember looking at some of the Broadway clips. And I remember Megan Hilty. I remember Stephanie J. Block. We were just talking about her. And at third face, I'm just like, who is it? Like, I could like, it was just grayness. Like, I kept on seeing scenes. I was like, I could not see anything. But then I picked up the clue on the question, and it's Allison Janney.
All right. And Jamey?
Yep, Allison Janney.
And Gaudi?
Yeah, Allison Janney.
That is correct. Allison Janney, currently of Mom fame on TV. That's where the clue came from.
She's fantastic. I love Allison Janney.
Oh, and that production was just amazing as well. Like, the star-studded cast, and Dolly wrote such a great show.
Also, let's just dedicate this episode to Dolly Parton, because she's one of the best in the world. Yeah. Helping fund vaccines, and she's just amazing.
Giving books to children and paying her employees a living wage. Anyway.
Working 24/7, not 9 to 5, that's for sure.
Dolly is the best.
Okay, so...
Final question, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Timpani drum roll.
Question 15. Which Canadian location serves as host for the many displaced plane passengers in Come From Away? I can be flexible with this answer.
All right. Let's start with Keith.
I'm assuming when you say you're flexible, you just take Newfoundland, but I'm pretty sure the town is Gander, Newfoundland.
All right. Let's go to Jamey.
I had Gander.
Yeah, no, I had Vancouver, which I don't even know. Is it in Canada, Vancouver? I'm sort of...
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was worried. I was like,
like, oh no, it's an Iceland. No, it is Gander, Newfoundland. I would have accepted Gander, Newfoundland, any of that. This was the show that I was going to see this summer when it came to Chicago, but that did not happen.
Yes, I've been wanting to see the show for a long time. What a great game, everyone involved here. Some high scores as well. Our final score is Gaudi with 5, Jamey with 12, and Keith with 13. So Keith, you are the winner of this episode, so congratulations. But Jamey, you also have the second highest point total of both the first and the second episode, so you will be moving on to the final as our wild card. So congratulations to you as well. So we have one more episode coming next week, which will be the final, and they will be joining JP Adams for the trio of I don't even know. I was trying to think of something alliterative, but anyway, it'll be the final. It'll be fun. But thank you everyone for joining us today. So let's just go down the line here. Keith, thank you for joining us. Any final words from you? And how about if you could only have one Broadway character's wardrobe for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Well, first, final words. Great questions. A lot of things fell into my wheelhouse and some lucky guesses, but good job, Jamey and Gaudi as well. Costumes, geez. I'm remembering back to when I played Glenn Guglia in The Wedding Singer, and he always had those 80s suits. It was cheesy as hell, but the neon polos and everything, that seems like it would be fun.
That does sound like a fun one. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's go to Jamey. Thank you very much for being on this episode. And for you, how about I have $1 million. I'm going to open up a Broadway show, and you can choose any role you want to be the star of. What would you pick?
Oh, goodness. That's a really good one. Thanks for writing an awesome show, Kellyn. Keith, you were a great competitor. Thanks, Gaudi. Thanks, Neal. If I'm going to open a show and star in it, I don't know. Maybe I'd do this is like the hard. No, I'm going to do Evita, except I'm going to play Evita.
Ooh.
Great answer. I love it. Well, thank you, Jamey, for joining us. And Gaudi, thanks so much for making the time. We know we have the time difference, obviously, with the Netherlands, but it's always nice to see your smiling face. And how about you? Any final words? And also, if there was any musical in the history of the world, any cast, any year that could open at the theater near you, what show would you want to see?
Okay, well, thanks for having me. It's a great show, Kellyn. Congratulations to Keith and to Jamey for moving on. Wow. Which musical original cast? Yeah, that has to be the original cast of Les Miserables from the London production.
Oh, that would be an epic show. Great answer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gaudi. Again, thank you to Jamey and Keith. Kellyn, any final words for you before we get to the final episode next week?
Thanks for playing. I hope you guys had fun, because I sure did.
Yes.
That's it, I guess.
No, that's okay. Thank you very much, Kellyn, again, for your questions. If you'd like to help support the show on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast. And also, we mentioned the winner next week will get a free t-shirt from TeePublic, our new merchandise suppliers. You can go to trivialitypodcast.com and click merchandise to get there. For Keith, Jamey, Gaudi, and Kellyn, thank you very much. And Conrad, we do not love you. That was Triviality.